This is a very big deal that we're about to get to right now. There's a biotech company here in Canada, and it believes that it has the preventable medical solution for COVID-19. It's asking the government for $18 million to start trials. If this treatment works, it would not only save lives, but also allow the economy to fully reopen by protecting the most vulnerable from community spread. So we have to hear more about this right now. Joining us from QU Biologics, he is recognized both nationally and internationally as a leader in the field of supportive cancer care. And in 2009, was awarded the $250,000 Dr. Rogers Prize for Vision, Leadership, and Integrity in the field of integrative medicine. He is its CEO, and he is Dr. Hal Gunn. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Thanks for having us on, Dahlia.
Well, let me introduce the other part of us. How about that, sir? He is a man who was diagnosed with stage 4 non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Told his chance of survival was only 30%. He frantically searches for alternatives, and he finds them. He is now also the founder of something that helped him find a new life, I imagine. So, founder of QU Biologics, Rob Freeman. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Dahlia, and thanks for having me on your show.
Well, thanks for being alive to be here and for investing all of this money into a company that helped you. Before we even get to this preventable medical solution for COVID-19 that you talk about having, I think it says a lot that, Rob, you go and invest all of this money in a company that had the foresight and vision to save you and other people. So I think that speaks a lot to the promise of what's to come.
Yes, I spent a lot of time with Dr. Gunn. I had searched the world for a way to save my life with only a 30% chance of survival, and 2 young boys at home, and their mom was having health issues. And when I got diagnosed with cancer, I thought, man, oh man, within months, the boys could lose both parents. And I thought, no way, that's not going to happen. So, I went searching the world for cutting-edge treatments, and that search brought me right back to Canada and right to Dr. Gunn's doorstep. And I was one of the first people to take a very, cutting-edge treatment there. It was the first-generation SSI. And the bottom line is it slowed my cancer right down and allowed me time to find treatments right here in Canada that were just coming online. And I did take those treatments, and my cancer disappeared, and that was 20 years ago. So I was super impressed with what Dr. Gunn did for me, and I approached him, and we talked about the cancer treatments he was working on. I asked him if he needed an investor. He said maybe, and the rest is history.
So you become his angel investor, but really he's your angel.
Well, absolutely. Absolutely. We had a great relationship. We still do. I believed in his vision. I still believe in his vision 100%. And the treatment that Q Biologic has, I believe, totally has the potential to help out in this COVID pandemic and other pandemics.
Well, this is what we need to get to, because before we even get to the idea of what Q Biologics is offering here with its preventable medical solution, we've heard out of Israel, we've heard out of different countries the potential for vaccines. People are saying, we think we have a vaccine, we might have a vaccine, we might have this, we might have that. There's a lot of competing companies, I guess, and countries who are saying, we could have it, we could have it. So what's the difference between what Q Biologics has compared to what other people are talking about right now? Dr. Gunn?
Dahlia, there's 2 parts to our immune system. There's the part of the immune system that creates antibodies to infection, and that's what vaccines activate. And if we can develop a vaccine that works against the coronavirus, that would be a really great advance. But there's another part of our immune system called the innate immune system that you can think of as your body's intrinsic ability to respond to any threat, including infection. And what we've discovered is that we can activate the innate immune system using inactivated bacteria, so similar to vaccination in that we're using an inactivated bacteria or virus to activate the immune system, but instead of activating the antibody portion of the immune system, we're activating innate immunity, and we're enabling that first line of defense against any viral or bacterial infection to work better. And the reason that's important is because you need a proper functioning innate immune system to quickly clear viral infections. So children and young healthy adults, they have a very well-functioning innate immune system, and so they're at very little risk for COVID-19 morbidity and mortality. But as we age, our innate immune function declines. If we have other illnesses, our innate immune function declines. And so those people are at risk for morbidity and mortality. And the reason we have to socially isolate is not to protect children or young healthy adults, but protect those people that have a decreased innate immune function. And so if we can protect those people by restoring their innate immune function, then they'll also be at much less risk of morbidity and mortality. So that's the idea behind our therapy. And I have applied for funding to test the ability of our therapy to prevent morbidity and mortality in the elderly and other people at high risk.
So if you're just joining Dalia, this is The Goods. And with us right now from Vancouver-based Q Biologics, we have Dr. Hal Gunn, its CEO, and also a founder with him, Rob Freeman. And we're talking about the preventable medical solution for COVID-19 that this biotech company believes that it has. Now, you've done a phase 2 of studies with this right now, so you're looking for $18 million from the government to start further trials. Is that to be understood properly?
We've used our immunotherapy platform for the treatment of Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis, and colon cancer, and we want to apply that same technology to the treatment of COVID-19 in a phase 2 study. That's right. We've shown in animals that our treatment can prevent morbidity and mortality in mice with viral infection, and morbidity and mortality with infection in aged mice, because the same thing happens in mice as humans as we age. And that now we're wanting to be able to demonstrate that in humans. And the neat thing about this technology, as opposed to vaccination is specific to a specific virus. In fact, the challenge is, like with the flu virus, you can develop an effective vaccine, but then the flu virus mutates. So the next year, that same vaccine doesn't work. And it is quite likely that would happen with the coronavirus if people were able to develop a vaccine that worked to prevent coronavirus. Coronavirus mutates like the flu virus mutates. The interesting thing about our technology is when you activate and restore innate immune function, it can help to prevent any infections. So we think that if it works, then it would be helpful not just for the coronavirus, but for any future pandemic.
So when looking at where you're at right now with the request for grant money from the government to start further trials, how long, if everything would go according to plan, you get the money, you do the trials in November, how long before this would be available to people en masse?
It depends on the regulatory perspective of Health Canada, typically you require 2 large trials for drug approval. If our trial is successful, Health Canada would have the option of approving the drug based on that trial. And in this context, there's accelerated approval processes. So it is possible that we could get approval within about 12 months.
So we'd be looking at, in the fastest case scenario, 12 months from now that this would be available to people?
Yeah, 12 months from when we would get funding. That's correct.
When looking at all of these different countries and scientists and schools who say, that they possibly have a vaccine, or they're working on this, or they're working on whatever sort of medical treatments to prevent COVID-19 or alleviate COVID-19, is it possible that everybody could have very different treatments, but they all work effectively?
Yes, I think given the importance of COVID-19, I think it's important to be working on all the options, and the most focus right now is on creating vaccines that work, and I think there's now more than 100 vaccines in development. Another option is to use antiviral therapies that are designed to kill the virus. And what we're speaking about is a third option, which is to restore or optimize our body's innate capacity to respond to that virus.
Which wouldn't even just help with that virus alone. This would help with all of the flu viruses and all of the coronaviruses and many other things that take people's lives far too early. Is that what you're saying?
That's it exactly. Yeah, and really, the innate immune system. The reason we believe our treatment is so broadly applicable is because the innate immune system is our body's first line of defense against cancer, against a wide range of pathologies and infections. So, I had discovered this technology in my clinical practice. I was caring for a person with advanced pancreatic cancer, and they were at the end of their life in palliative care, and they developed a severe infection, and their advanced pancreatic cancer went into remission. And it was such a remarkable experience to me as a physician. I wanted to understand how that happened, and we discovered that acute infection activates an organ-specific recruitment of innate immunity, and that's the basis of our technology. And that technology, if it turns out to function in the way that we think it does, could be applicable very broadly across a wide range of diseases. But in this particular circumstance, it's the innate immune system is our body's first line of defense against infection. And when there's no past exposure, when we don't have antibodies to that particular virus, then it's our body's only line of defense initially against that virus or bacteria.
So to understand, is this the same sort of medical solution that helped your founder, who's also on the line with you right now, Rob Freeman, stop his cancer? Is that the same thing?
Yes, the same idea that we're restoring innate immunity. And the innate immune system plays a very important role in the body. It clears viral and bacterial infection, but it also restores the microbiome, is important in barrier function, which is important in preventing infection, and it modulates adaptive immunity. The innate immune system is the oldest part of our immune system. In fact, plants have an innate immune system, and you can really think of it as our body's innate capacity to deal with any significant illness or threat.
Well, I think this is fascinating, and there's so much more to talk about than this alone, but I want to follow this. I want to see where it goes. So we're waiting to see if you could start those trials, and then if everything goes according to plan, 1 year from now, we could have this preventable medical solution for COVID-19, and not just for COVID-19, but for so many other viruses and illnesses because of Q Biologics, right?
We're hoping so. We have our fingers crossed that it will be an important solution for COVID-19 and more broadly. Thank you for having us on your program, Dahlia.
Well, thank you for saving Rob Freeman's life so he could be here, for one. And Rob, thanks for funding Dr. Hal Gunn so he could be here, for two. And I think that it's absolutely fascinating work. And let's hope. I mean, I want every single vaccine, I want every single preventable medical solution to work, because it's not just about developing them, it's also about being able to get them out to everybody who needs them. That's going to be another big challenge that we're going to face in the days and months and years ahead. So thank you both.
Thank you very much, Kelly.
Rob Freeman and Dr. Hal Gunn from Q Biologics, Vancouver-based, they think that they have the preventable medical solution for COVID-19.